right, in the next few minutes we're going to learn how to do the overtime wave and overtime hours, as well as the total including overtime for this simple payroll that we have here as an example. And I'm going to leave down below the link for the video that we have created for this particular payroll, and adding the max, min, average, and total. So I'm going to leave those two links. All right, so to create another column in between hours worked and total, I simply select the tab for total and then right click it and select insert column, so it can be inserted in between those two columns. So I'm going to label it as hours, overtime hours rather. And as you can see, it's not properly adjusted, so I adjust it as we previously learned. And then I'm going to do a formula here, which is equal sign and the cell E6 minus 40. It will give us 0 value. If I expand the formula to the rest of the employees, you're going to notice that there is a negative number here. Why? Because Jeff Brown has only 38 hours, so that makes it negative. So that would not work for our OT total or the wage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the formula to a conditional formatting using if. So what it does is I'm going to start typing the equal sign, if, use the initial starting parentheses with a shift 9, and then the conditional is going to be as follows. As you can see, there's a logical test, a value if it's true and a value if it's false. So I'm going to do if EC is greater than 40, semicolon, then the formula is going to be hours worked, which is the EC minus 40. If not, or if it's false, semicolon, we'll give it a value of 0. Close the parentheses, or simply hit enter, and the formula is done. So all I do is I expand the formula to the rest of the employees, and now you notice there is a 0 value for Jeff Brown, who is the person or employee that did not do any overtime hours. So we have our overtime hours formula now, and now we're going to give it a special rate for the overtime hours. So how do you do that? You simply label it as overtime paid. I'm going to bold it, and the formula is going to be equal sign 1.5 times the rate times the hours worked. Once again, 1.5, that means that I'm giving 1.5 value of the hourly wage for each employee times the hours worked for this particular employee. So that is going to be 1.5 times D6, which is the hourly wage, times the hours worked of overtime. I hit enter, and it gives 0 because this employee, John Smith, doesn't have any overtime hours. So I will go ahead and expand the formula for the rest of the employees. And as you can see, Richard has 2 hours of overtime paid at $16 regular, and 1.5 is going to be $48. So that was it. Then you do the total pay including overtime. So not only regular pay plus overtime, and then we now are going to include that into a formula. So all you do is simply click or enter the equal sign. You can simply do zoom, which is for addition, or simply click on the cells that you want to add. In this case, I click on this one, then I hit the plus sign, and then I click on this one and hit enter. So this one doesn't have any difference because there's no overtime, but when I expand the formula to the rest of the employees, you're gonna notice that the total for say Richard Olson is $720. So this is how you get the overtime hours, the overtime pay, and the total amount. So that was it for you today.